you might like these. There's 3 different kinds of N. Grammar translation, I'll translate. Later, you, see. See you later. All right, we've got to the end there, and what we were trying to do, we're trying to use a listening exercise, and it's sometimes hard to divorce it from a reading exercise, especially with literate people. They don't feel fulfilled unless they can see the written word as well. So we supplemented it a little bit with a real life situation. Now I guess I'm interested in how much stress, how much effect I put on you by doing that, and you can tell me any comments about how hard it was, or did you enjoy it? Did you learn something? Was it a useful exercise to do? So I turn the floor over to you now.
Incredibly hard to remember.
That's only because you're not used to the sequences.
Sequences and the sounds.
And the sounds, they're quite different.
Yeah. And how they go together. That's the other intense.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about it. If we're doing grammar translation, you'll see that they have a lot of suffixes. And this one here, and people think that Aboriginal languages are not complex, they are. Because this is a 2-syllable word. If you say on, this means ground, this means on. So if you're saying on the ground, you put this ending on. But if you had a tree, with this watia, you can't use this because tree is 3 syllables. So you have to use RLA. RL, when you put an R with something, it usually means a bent L. So watiara would have to be the pronunciation. You couldn't have, if you said, well, I don't know how to say it, wrong, hang on, I'll try. Walyarla. Yeah, so if you said Walyarla, put the wrong ending on, people will wet their pants laughing. It's very funny. So it's something that you learn. But it's quite a nice language. This one here, this is for one person, he, she, it. But if you had 2, you put P-A-L-A on. Kapala means 2 of anything. Doesn't matter what it is. And if you had more than that, there's another ending.
Almost sounds Fijian.
Kapala. Could be. Actually, it could be because the 2 that are well known that are pretty. This is for one. This is for many. So Kapala could be an innovation into their language from English. Could be. Could easily be.
Yeah. So where is this language from?
Alice Springs. Go to Alice Springs and turn left. And you get Pitjantjatjara,
Yes.
or they just say it Pitjantjatjara because it's easier. And on that left-hand side, there's the Pitjantjatjara speakers, and just above them are the Warlpiri speakers. If you go to a place called Yuendamu, there'd be 2,000 native speakers of Warlpiri. So there's a lot of people there. If you go to Alice Springs and turn right, you have Aranda, the suburb of Aranda,
Yes.
pronounced Aranda. So,
Can I just ask you, Warlpiri, for example?
yeah, Warlpiri.
This is what I found difficult, is that I could hear you speak it, but to actually recognise that a lot of it, or to be able to write it. If you spoke and said to me, write down how you think it's spelled. And I'm just curious how Warlpiri has become Warlpiri. What does that derive from?
I'd have to, if I gave you a dictation or something like that, I'd have to pronounce it carefully, because I've now written it with a B there. What they've done in this language, in English, if I say throw this in the bin, and I can't really say throw this in the pin, can I? But in this language, P and B are equivalent. They don't differentiate with P and B. So that's why you've heard, they decided they have to pick one way to write it, so they write the P. Mostly they pronounce the B. And you'll only hear this when it gets an ending on it. If there's some ending on it, it will go back to being P. So that's why it's not your confusion, it's somebody's made a decision a long time ago to do that. And so you've got to ask what sounds here, and this is where when you first learn it, you'll have to learn that something like this I mentioned before. You'd have to mention that that's only one sound, and you'd have to learn that these are equivalent sounds. It's quite nice, it frees you up. It's a relaxation from English, you could say. And you'd have to go through their phoneme system, and that would be part of the learning. And for example, F, even though my good friend here has words that begin with F that he's borrowed from Arabic, I think in Bahasa there's no F normally.
Yes, yes,
Is there?
Yes.
Is there?
Yes, no F, no V,
No F, no
Z.
V. Yeah, so they're missing. So sometimes you say to Aboriginal people, oh, there's no S in quite a few languages, which is really, how could English live without S? When you hear people, if you're overseas and you listen, you hear S from English, they're all saying this S sound. If you hear Mandarin, for example, any Mandarin speakers? Yeah, all I hear in Mandarin is sure, all the time. I found out yesterday that's the word for is are and was, or something like that. Sure. So that differentiates.
But it's the same all around Australia. We've got Aboriginal names written on maps and all sorts of things, and they're all approximate, aren't they?
They're being translated by the British,
yeah.
because the British are missing the sound.
For
example, if this is one sound here, NG, and English writes it as two letters for reasons I don't know, NG in the word sing, it's only one sound if you try it. It's not sing, sing. We don't have that letter at the start in English. In the start of any syllable. So you'll find this word hard to say, but if you're going to learn an Aboriginal language or some other languages in Asia, you need to learn that. You need to take a word like sing, go sing, hold it, and go na, ni, nu, mo, whatever. But so otherwise you couldn't say see you later.
That NG sounds very common in languages too.
Yeah.
At the beginning of words.
At the beginning, yeah. English only has it at the end
How
of
do you
syllable.
say that in G?
NG. That word would be naka. Naka. Yeah.
So
It's
kind
not.
of like
The way to get it is to say it's not naka, it's not nyaka, it's naka. Yeah, you have to practice. It takes a while. But it's pretty good. You were very close. Yeah, very good. There's a lot of languages that have it, but is there anything else that we could have done to sharpen your understanding of what it's like when somebody's going through a listening test? So you had a feeling of what it's like?
And it wasn't stressful because we were in the groups. We had the support of the group, so I didn't.
I wouldn't have done it one-on-one. No,
No, I would have been mortified if you'd picked me
Yeah.
up.
No.
But I was very brave when Kathy was next to me.
Yes, I think how you introduce it is good. I was worried when we did it all. When I went down to one group, I thought I hope one group will cope. You know, I didn't, because there's still enough stress on one group. Yeah, and those names are realistic. So I was on the bus one day and a couple of guys got on and I just asked them, this word here, you can ask people, what's your skin name? This is a slang term, means where do you fit in to whatever group you fit into. And you can just say, oh, mine's Jabananga. So I'm in. We haven't got any Jabanangas here, have we? So I'm the only one Jabananga. So there's actually a street now in Gungahlin, and I write it like this. But if I was writing it properly, I should put a P there. Yeah, Jabananga.
And an A instead of the U.
They only have Jabananga, Jabananga. An A
So it
there.
has an A in it.
Instead of the U. Jaffa Nanga. Wouldn't
Here?
be U, yeah.
Ah, yeah. So that's a bit.
English.
Yeah, a bit English. They don't have many vowels. How many vowels are there in English?
3 in Warlpiri.
A-E-I-O-U.
5 being written, but how many are we speaking?
16.
Who said 16?
22.
10, good. 20, there's at least 20. That's why people can't hear between ship and sheep and words like there are 22, yeah, sometimes 23 vowels in English. They're all vowels that make